with Central Michigan at number 12, Oklahoma State. The Cowboys laying 21.5 points. Cowboys are minus 1,600 on the money line at BetMGM. Chippewas plus 850, total set at 59.5. Oklahoma State 12-2 last season, probably the quietest 12-2 season you will ever see. They beat Notre Dame in the Fiesta Bowl 37-35. They've got Spencer Sanders running that offense, but defensively, they lost Jim Knowles, who was supremely underrated as the head of that defense. Now he's coaching those guys up at Ohio State, which is one of the reasons why so many people are hot on the Buckeyes, who are plus 350 to win the national championship at BetMGM. But are you on the Cowboys here? Are you taking the chips?
I think I'm going to take a risk on the chips here. The fighting Jim McElwain, who is the coach of Central Michigan, because we talk about Oklahoma State being a quietly covering team. Well, Central Michigan, 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games of the season last year. And plus, as underdogs, they were really good, winning outright in their last 3 games when getting points. Granted, none of those point spreads were even close to 21.5. And I think that's the bottom line for me. It's just a ton of points for a team to lay, especially in the opening week of the season. So I think I'm going to go with Central Michigan here, getting the 21.5. I think I can at least keep it close to Oklahoma State. Maybe it's not a popular play, but I don't want to be sweating a 21.5 point spread in the fourth quarter. Give me all those garbage time touchdowns. I think I'll take the dog.
I'm with you, and I have a few questions about that Oklahoma State defense. They lost 7 starters, and when you talk about Central Michigan, they're going to want to slow this game down, which helps them having so many points. Lou Nichols, their running back, carried 341 times last year, so they want to hand the ball off, slow down the pace of this game. And Spencer Sanders, as good as he was for Oklahoma State, he is prone to make a mistake or two. I think that could also help the Chips keep this within the numbers, so we're both on the Chippewas at plus 21.5. Oh, here's a good one, too, the backyard brawl. The 105th all-time meeting between West Virginia and Pitt, the first game back in 1895, but the first meeting between these two schools since 2011. You've got Pitt laying 7.5, Pitt minus 300 on the money line at BetMGM. The Mountaineers plus 240, total at BetMGM at 51.5. We've seen money come in on the Panthers, starting to move this line, Chelsa. But are you on Pitt?
Yeah, I think I am on Pitt, and I've been on this one a little earlier than this week, just because we have seen this line moving steadily as money has steadily come in on Pitt. 77% of the money right now is on the Panthers, and that's why we've seen this line move from 6.5 all the way to 7.5. Obviously, I don't love that hook. I wish it was still at 7 or at 6.5. But still, I think this is a Pitt team that has more depth in this one. And I think everybody's going to be thinking, oh, well, they lost Kenny Pitt. They lost the Biletnikoff winner in Jordan Addison. And those are two huge subtractions for this Pitt team. But it's still a Pitt team that returns their entire offensive line. They get a quarterback from the transfer portal from USC, Keaton Slovis, who has the potential to be one of the best quarterbacks in college football. And so it's a Pitt team that just has a ton of depth. It's a team that won the ACC last season and also has a very good defense. So I'm going to be on Pitt here, kind of following the money, and also like the depth here for Pitt.
I can't believe that we're going to watch a game featuring 2 former USC quarterbacks. That's just insane to me. You talk about Keaton Slovis taking over for Kenny Pickett, threw 58 touchdowns at Southern Cal, and now he's taking on JT Daniels via USC and then Georgia, and now all the way out in West Virginia. So he's gone from coast to coast. I'm a little worried about that West Virginia defense because they only have 3 starters returning, and they struggled last year. At the end of the day, however, I think this line is too high. This is a rivalry game, and I'm telling you, living here on the East Coast, West Virginia and Pitt, it's not just they don't like each other. This is going to be a physical battle. I think it's too high. I will take West Virginia and the points, and I think the hook could be the crook here. So I'm on West Virginia plus 7.5. How about Ball State at Tennessee tonight in Knoxville? The Vols laying a huge number, 35 and a hook. They're minus 10,000 on the money line. What does that mean? Well, it means if you want to win $100, you have to bet $10,000 on the Vols to win. The Cardinals are plus 3,300 on the money line. The total set at 68 and a hook. Tennessee comes in with the second highest scoring offense in the SEC last season, averaging 39.3 points per game. But will that be enough to cover 35.5 points, Chelsea.
I have no desire to lay this big of a number in week 1 of the college football season. But if I had a lean here, I believe it would be on Tennessee. Just because if anybody's going to cover this big of a number, Tennessee certainly has the offensive firepower to do so. Not only are they a prolific offense, scoring 39 points a game, they also are one of the fastest tempo teams in all of college football. So not only are they scoring a lot of points, they're running a lot of plays. So you have the opportunity to score a ton of points. Hendon Hooker comes back at quarterback, who was really good in the last 6 games of the season, I believe is when he really turned it on. So some high potential there, but all this is built into the number. Like there's a reason Tennessee is favored by this many points. But I don't know. I just feel like it's too big of a number for me to want to put money on. So I was looking at a Tennessee team total. It's 51. So that's too high for me too. So I don't think there's any way to play this.
Yeah, I don't either. The total 68.5, which is just insane. This game could get out of control. Ultimately, Ball State, after going 6-7 last year, is going to take a step back this year. Picked to finish last in the West Division of the MAC. But when you look at the games in the schedule tonight, there are just much more attractive plays on the board. So I'm not going to waste my money on a Ball State-Tennessee matchup with such a massive spread. This is a Daily Tip for BetQL presented by BetMGM. She's Chelsea Messenger. I'm Michael Jenkins. Coming up in 10 minutes, if college football isn't your thing, you probably can't resist a good K-prop. And our expert Ariel Epstein will join the show to give us her favorite plays. Also, make sure you follow BetMGM across social media at BetMGM. The new app is so great. Has an easy cash out feature, live betting options, and the Daily Lions Boost, along with hundreds of markets in play. How are we going to play Penn State at Purdue tonight? Penn State laying 3.5 points. Penn State minus 175 on the money line at BetMGM. Purdue plus 145 on the money line, total set at 53 and a hook. Let's bring in Double D here after I ask you about this, Chelsea, because he's going to be at this game. I believe 4th row in the end zone, Double D. I happen to like Purdue plus the points. What are you thinking?
Who, me? Or Double D?
I'm going to ask you first. Do you want to go to Double D first?
No, I think we need to talk about the line movement here, or the lack of line movement, because we're seeing the majority of the bets, the bet percentage on Penn State here at 3.5, but this line isn't moving because the majority of the money is on Purdue. In fact, 71% of the money is on Purdue. And for the amateur people who don't follow betting that closely, it means the percentage of bets, like the smaller bets, the smaller money bets are all on Penn State, it looks like, but the big money is on Purdue. That's usually the sharp money, and 71% of that is on Purdue. So that's why I'm kind of hesitant to lay it with Penn State. But Double D, I have a strong feeling I know what side you're on here.
Why would you say that? I have no idea what you're talking about at all.
Feeling, man.
So you're not
just
taking
a gut
Penn State.
feeling? I actually am taking Penn State. There's a lot of variables. I'm very nervous for this game, to be quite honest. It's a tough road game to start the year. You have Aiden O'Connell coming back to Purdue, who is probably top 5 quarterback in the Big Ten. My only redeeming value is that our cornerbacks are top level, probably the best tandem in the Big Ten, and Joey Porter Jr. is probably the best shut down cornerback in the Big Ten, bar none. To me, this game comes down to whether or not Penn State can establish the run game to set up Sean Clifford for the play action pass game that he is very, very good at. If that happens, Penn State might blow this wide open. If it doesn't happen, close game, could go either way, is my opinion.
I'm on Purdue here. I think Purdue at home getting 3.5. I would maybe think about Purdue on the money line. I think it's going to be a close game. And frankly, this is a very experienced Purdue team. 16 starters returning from last year's team. They went 9-4. My worry about Penn State is that even though Sean Clifford has a ton of experience, he had a hard time being protected in the pocket last year with that offensive line. They have 3 of those guys returning. So you've got some new faces and already a line that struggled last year. Penn State, historically very good against Purdue. They're 15-3-1 all time, but I'm not quite sure I trust the Nittany Lions in this spot against an experienced Purdue club. So, Double D, I wish the best for you, buddy, but I'm on Purdue plus 3.5. Are you going to be, it's going to be 62 with a light wind tonight in West Lafayette. Are you going to be fourth row, shirt off, all painted up, yelling in the end zone?
Absolutely not. No one wants to see this guy with a shirt off. No.
I do. I want to see it. And I want to record it, and I want to play it for my friends. I'm like, I know him. That's Double D. He's on our show. Look, he's going nuts. Penn State won in the final seconds of the game. He's going crazy. That's what I want to see, Double D. No chance of that? No chance.
None at all. None.
All right.